Hello YouTube, it is Championdjk coming at you again with another video, and today we're going to do some diecast oddities, some weird stuff, at least stuff that I wouldn't like. Some of it I would think of putting in my collection, I guess, but not all of it. All of this stuff that you're going to see today, I'm pretty sure all of it that I got grouped up here came from my good buddy Jay. He's on Instagram, all that good stuff. He buys a ridiculous amount of diecast, no joke, more than I do. Rivals almost Crazy Todd levels of buying diecast. Which one of these days I got to tour you of Crazy Todd's collection because he lives local to me. And you guys will puke because it's just ridiculous. It's absolutely insane how much stuff he buys. It's insane how much this guy buys. These guys are crazy. So I don't buy as much stuff. I buy a lot of stuff, but Jay likes to send me weird stuff, and you guys know that from the previous Diecast Weekly episodes. We're going to take a look at some of the stuff that he sent me in the last little bit here, and I just haven't been able to show it on video, so we're going to do that. I've got a bunch of stuff you can see behind you, some of it weird, some of it pretty cool. This is what we got to look at first. This is a Mountain Dew Do the Do. It is a stock car. And I don't know what this is. Mountain Dew, Mountain Dew, Mountain Dew, Do the Do. Golden Wheels. It is a Golden Wheels, which I am not familiar with that brand. Diecast Special Edition. This appears to be somewhere around the 1/43rd scale mark, I'm guessing. I'm guessing it's going to have a metal body and a plastic base and plastic wheels. That's what we're looking at here. I always like to try to check for a copyright date because that can kind of key you into, on the card anyway, kind of around at least the era it came out in, and I cannot see anything there. So, not really sure. Golden Wheels, New York, New York, made in China. As you would expect, and quality is their commitment, by the way, and they conform to safety requirements, so that's nice. There is a Golden Wheels Diecast.com. Maybe I'll have to check that out, see if that site is still there. I have no idea. I know nothing about this. We're going to go ahead and open it up. As cool as this looks on card, which it is cool, and I do actually like to save some of these older cards. So what I think I'm going to do, actually, we'll go like this. We're going to cut it with a razor. That's the easiest way to kind of preserve the card. Some of the older card, like the weirder cards, I actually do kind of save, and I put them in a box. I don't know if I'll ever go back and look at them or not, but I have them in case I ever wanted to. So this weird Mountain Dew card, just a weird thing to look at. Maybe later down the road, maybe never, and we don't know. Golden Wheels. Look at this. I mean, it's kind of cool. Nothing, the base is pretty plain. Golden Wheels, made in China. Kind of has, yeah, it's got suspension in there. You see that tab over the wheel? That is meant to bend up, so it does give it a little bit of a suspension. Kind of a cool little minimalist model. I mean, there's not much to it, right? It's a stock car. It does have the roll cage and stuff in the interior and the netting and all of that in the one window. The other window is actually there. And yeah, I mean, there's some charm to this for sure. So I'm happy to have it. I have a weird little 1/43rd collection of random stuff, and this will fit good in that, so that's going to be pretty nifty. All right, so we'll hang on to that one. I'm going to set it aside for right now. Actually, maybe we'll just set it right there for right now. Other weird stuff. Okay, cars, right? This isn't weird per se. The only weird thing about this is that, and speaking of Crazy Todd, the only weird thing about this is that they're in my collection now, which I've never had a Disney Pixar Cars car actually in my collection. So we've got the Pizza Planet truck, which is pretty neat, and pretty neat that Hot Wheels actually put out the Pizza Planet truck as well. But here it is. Here's Todd. I mean, these are cool. If you like the Disney Pixar movies, the Cars movies, these are really neat representations of that Toyota. So it is like they're made it to kind of be like a real car, or a real car. This is supposed to be like a Toyota truck, obviously, and it is kind of neat, the Pizza Planet truck. So yeah, we got that. These are metal body, if you've never had one, metal body, plastic base, plastic wheels. And I think I have bought one or two for my kids a time ago, but I've never actually put one into my collection. And I've got the best, maybe some of the best two to get. We've got this one here, the Pizza Planet truck, which is pretty awesome, or Todd, rather. And then I've got, of course, Ka-Chow. We've got, you know, this guy. And honestly, I've never actually watched a full Cars movie either. I know I've said that about, so this is Lightning McQueen, right? So I've never said that, I've always said that about the Fast and Furious movies, but it's actually true about the Cars movies. My kids have watched them. I've never seen one all the way through. I've seen bits and pieces of it. I don't know if this is supposed to be a chase or something. He did mention that this one was hard to get for some reason. It does look like it has metallic paint, and I don't know if the original one or the normal one would not have metallic paint. I have no idea. I'm pretty sure there are chases in cars, or at least there have been a time or two. But here is a Lightning McQueen. Rusties. Looks like they're using the same graphics. It is Mattel. These are a Mattel product, by the way. So it looks like they're using the same method that they use on Hot Wheels premium cars. This kind of dot matrixy looking printing. So that's kind of interesting. I never knew that. They use the same process, which I guess makes sense. But here's Lightning McQueen in a metallic, almost Spectre Flame, huh? Not really. Kind of paint job. So there's that. So like I said, these aren't weird per se. They're just weird that I have them. Because normally I would not. And that's the only weird bit about that. So let's go ahead and we'll set this stuff kind of aside. We'll set it behind this other stuff. And it will reappear as we grab other things to look at. Let's take this thing right here. So this is weird, right? Motor Force, die-cast metal, fast running wheel, made in China, non-toxic paints, 3 and up, nothing on the back at all. No data, nothing. This appears to be a Lamborghini Countach. Fast racing Lamborghini Countach. This particular one is just falling off. So we'll just do that. Although we lost the non-toxic paints comment, which, oh well. You can see maybe there's some other cool cars you could have got in the Motor Force. These are made by Summer Toys. Okay, and Summer Toys, I am somewhat familiar with. I actually just bought a Summer Toy car, and I'm not going to open it up right now because it's going to be part of a different video, but I will sneak it real quick. I think this is a Summer Toy. I think this is, and I think that is at least a Summer Toy casting. Non-toxic paints, sport wheels. This has a rhino on it. I don't know what that means. I thought this was a Summer Toy. I've got another one. That was this one. I think this is the same. Yeah, this isn't the same tooling, but I think this is also Summer Toys. So they look extremely cheap. But that's kind of neat, I guess. They're extremely cheap. They're kind of retro. They're older. And just a bit weird. But extremely cheap. I mean, look at this. Chrome base. Metal body. It has an interior. The seats are actually, well, it sort of has an interior. The seats are part of the base. So it's a two-piece with wheels and axles. Oh, and a window, and just look how cheap and garbage looking this is, but that is what kind of makes it neat to own. Lamborghini Countach, one of my favorite cars of all time. It in diecast form of anything close to 164, I'm going to be into, including this cheapo Chinese fast racing Lambo Countach. This is definitely supposed to be a Countach. It's obviously not licensed. So China's been making some non-licensed stuff for a very long time. So, including back in whenever the heck this was made. There's no date. There's nothing to indicate when it was made, but there it is. Yeah, there that is. All right. Let's grab. Actually, let's go with the construction stuff real quick. So, I don't know what the heck. These are construction minis. Appear to be Caterpillar licensed. Actually, maybe even produced for Caterpillar from Norscott scale models. Never heard of them. And these appear to be very, very small scale. This was on clearance for 99 cents at one point. Copyright date 2006. That kind of likely will give you kind of an idea of when they're from. And we're actually going to need a tool to remove this from the base. This also has the dreaded rubber band. However, I don't think it's going to be able to affect this too much because it appears to be mostly plastic. Although this is metal, the boom arm thing here is plastic. We're making a mess now. So it comes in an acrylic case. I mean, this thing is kind of... I wonder how pricey these were to begin with. I may kind of put this with my odd scale, like 1/43 scale models, because it comes with an acrylic case. Do I even bother unscrewing this? I guess we do. Oh, it's got the one screw and a peg. That's the best when it comes to acrylic case models. And it's got this dreaded rubber band. I'm just trying to get this out of here. And it is... It's on there. It is sticking to it. It is gross. Any diecast company that uses these should stop immediately. But here it is. So it articulates. It does not have moving tracks. So you kind of just push it along the ground. I don't know what scale this is, and I don't think there's any indication of what scale it's supposed to be, and I don't know if it's actually supposed to be a scaled model to begin with, but it's obviously a very, very high number, like a 1 in 100 something scale. Not even 187. It is small. But the detail is decent. It's pretty good, actually. I mean, the detail on this model, pretty decent. It's a little tiny thing, little tiny model. So that's kind of interesting. Not really, something normal for me, right? And that's why we're looking at it, because we're looking at some weird stuff. This one, I'm going to leave on the base, I think. I'm just going to leave it on, because instead of taking time to take out that screw, we don't really need to look at the base of the model. Although I do want to know if the wheels roll. And they do. The wheels do roll. Oh, and this one's tied down by a bunch of rubber bandage too. So we're going to have to go ahead and we are going to have to remove it. Well, hey, what do you... McQueen, Wisconsin? Really? Made in China. McQueen. That's weird. Would not expect that. It's not where the cat is made, is it? I don't think so. So this is a Cat 906 wheel loader. For those who love construction equipment. And there are people out there that collect this stuff in diecast. And this is a mix of diecast and plastic. Get that rubber band out of there. Ugh, gross. This one does roll. Ooh, and it does a wheelie. Does a wheelie as well. And this articulates, this moves. Sometimes when I look at small, like 187 models and stuff like this, and we're going to look at these that are in 172, I'm like baffled by the amount of detail they're able to cram into a tinier model than a Hot Wheels that sometimes even premium 164 scale diecast cannot nail. And maybe it's because it's so small you can't see the flaws in it or something like that. I'm not sure, but this looks pretty darn good and pretty darn detailed, even though that's plastic. And it articulates, you know, it's pretty good looking little tiny model. That's obviously a very, very small scale car. Or car, not car, construction equipment. Should we just do this right away? We got some majorettes. Before we get into our small scale stuff, which we will get into, we'll check it out. Let's take a look at, let's just throw these out randomly. Let's take a look at some majorette. This is an older majorette. It was 50 cents at an Ames. This is 200 series N degree 1, 2, and 3. See, they had a bunch of stuff. Oh, I want that Pontiac Fiero for sure. There's a lot of cool cars that Majorette did back in the day, and they're kind of cool. The way that they look, the charm that they have. The card is kind of neat. I've had several Majorettes that have been on this card. This is made in France. This is the Grue crane truck, number 283. So if you look on the list back here, it's number 283. There it is, crane truck. So that's kind of neat. I like when they do that, when they put the whole like series on the back of the card. That's kind of cool because you can use that then to kind of hunt for stuff. Like, oh, I didn't know they made that. And then you can go look for it on eBay and whatnot. Okay. I think I just broke it. No, I didn't just break it, but this came off. This comes off. It sort of articulates. This moves. It doesn't extend. And it kind of like clips on to that. But it doesn't move really beyond there. This rotates around. It is, and the hook can actually hook right underneath the bumper. If you want to store it like that, you can. It has a plastic base made in France and a metal body. Metal, everything else is metal on it. Not a lot of painted detail on this thing, right? Now, granted, these were probably cheaper a lot than these, but look at how much details on this thing in comparison to this. So this is in 1/64-ish scale. Actually, it's not. It's in 1/100th scale. So that tells you that these things, being construction equipment, are probably really, really small. This is really 1/100th scale. This thing must be absolutely massive if it were to be in 1/64. But kind of neat anyway. This is more of a, this is a better compare, isn't it? So from Phase Drugs, Majorette. This one's not made in France, I don't think. Doesn't say. Anyway. Made in Thailand. Or Thailande, which is probably French for Thailand, right? Weird. I just thought it was weird that like different countries had different like ways of spelling and names for countries. You think like countries would be like Deutschland and Germany. Like, what's the deal with that? I'm sure there's an explanation. This is a Pele that. This is also in 1/100 scale. It's number 242. We can use that. Let's see. 242 is the shovel engine. So that's what this is. It is the shovel engine. Pretty close. You know, the technology, the overall format of these things hasn't changed much over the years, right? I'm sure the technology has changed quite a bit, but I mean, these are pretty close to the same sort of thing, right? Kind of interesting. The tracks don't move, obviously, but they got the little wheels on the bottom that move. And then this, you know, has a pivot point here and here in the bucket. This one has a pivot point there and there, but the bucket does not pivot. So they both have 2 pivot points. This one's got the better pivot points, I will tell you. But pretty neat nonetheless. A weird majorette, and that joins my weird majorette collection. So that's perfect. Perfect indeed. All right, smaller scale again. These are Diecast Collector Road Yatming. What? These are Yatmings? Okay, that's interesting. Yatming made some stuff in 164s. These are 172 scale. And we have a BMW Z4 in this box. It's kind of roached, but we'll see if we can get it open without completely ripping it. And we did. I'll kind of save this stuff because this is going to go in my box of odd scale stuff. So here we go. 172. Oh, what is that? Okay. How do we... I don't want to like break this thing. I'm going to push down. I got to get it over that ridge. Oh, there we go. It snapped out. I broke it, I think. What is this? There we go. That is weird and interesting. It's worth the price of admission right there, right? So this little plastic spacer piece comes out of the bottom. And then these little like paper clippy things are hooked around the axle to hold it in. I'm going to set those aside, and there, they're actually pretty easy to get out now that I know what I'm doing. That's cool. BMW Z4. And again, here we go. Look at all the detail. It's got a lot of detail, and it's a little tiny model. You know, wheels that were tooled specifically for it. You got inserted details for headlights, painted details up front. The tires are rubber. It is a plastic base, used under license. It rolls, all that good stuff. Let's get out the Lexus. I almost wonder if these are like high-speed castings. They say Yap Ming on them, but I know maybe those were not. Those were 187 scale. I thought they're small scale stuff. This one's got a bit of paint rash on it, which can be common in some older die-cast. This one, you know what? I'm just going to leave it in, because for right now, I'm just going to leave it in. Those things are cool, though, the way that's in there. That's a neat idea, I will say. I'm just going to leave this one in. We're just going to look at it on the base. We know it rolls. We know it has rubber tires. We know it has a plastic base. But we do need to move on a little bit. And it's going to kind of just go back in this little box anyway, because that's how it's going to get stored in with my weird scale stuff. So there's that. So weird 172 scale, Lexus SC 430. I do have, I think I have an SC 430 in 164 scale made by Malibu Diecast. It's just a weird car to have a scale model of. It's kind of cool. So that's neat. We'll put the Z4, we'll put that back on. And that's the only thing I'm weirded out by, is because Malibu Diecast did some of the same castings. I know they did a Z4. I think it was in 187 scale, though. Weird stuff. All right, we got a couple of weirdo Matchbox ones. We'll go through those real quick, and then we'll get to what I think are going to be my favorite two of the whole shebang here. So we got this weird around the world cool photo, turn over and look through camera of Stonehenge, and it is a VW Beetle. Passport sticker included, collect all 36. I guess you get like a passport thing. You could add the stickers to it. You can see the photo by looking here. We'll get closer on that in a minute. Choose your free bonus. Get free Matchbox around the world vehicles and passport stickers not sold in stores. So what a collector like thing. This was probably fun. Copyright date 2003. So there's the camera. Here's the passport sticker. And then here's the actual car, which we care the least about in comparison to the other two items. It's a Volkswagen kind of Beetle concept, new Beetle thing. And it's a semicircle. What can you say about it? Copyright date 1996 on the tooling. Not Matchbox best era. We'll just set it there for now. And here's the sticker, Stonehenge. There's that. And then the camera, which is going to be a picture, if you look in it, if we can, of Stonehenge. Looks like we're not going to be able to focus. It almost wants to catch it. Oh, there it is. There's Stonehenge. Check it out. You've just looked through a portal to Stonehenge. Kind of a neat little concept, kind of a cute little thing. You can use it as a keychain, it looks like. It's got a little loop there. It's charming. I like it. All right. We'll set the camera back there. And then we got this guy. This is a Matchbox super fast, 35 years. This came out in 2004, which is clearly stated up here. And it's a 33 Ford Coupe. It's a casting I did not have. So that's neat. Packaging is just falling apart. Comes with a box that is very much in the style of the original super fast boxes from Matchbox back in '69 or whatever it was that the super fast first came out. Wish this thing had those wheels though instead of those. Wow, if it had like Real Rider wheels or whatever, rubber tires like that, that looks pretty cool in comparison to this, which looks okay, but the wheels kind of, you know, are a little ugly. A lot ugly, we'll say. Orange. It's an orange, sparkly orange with blue flames. Kind of cool. All right, we're going to move on from that. Lastly, we got two pieces here that are pretty neat. We're going to save the best one for last. This is a Motor World. This is from one of the original Motor World series from Greenlight, which is some of the first Greenlight to ever come out. This was Series 3, Collect All 3 series. 2009 copyright date. There were some cool cars in here, including a Lamborghini Murcielago and a Lamborghini Gallardo and a Porsche Cayenne and a Dodge Viper. Some cool stuff. All American series. You see they did some cool stuff with Pontiac Trans Am. We got the Cobra 427. There's a Jag E-Type. I think I have that one. I might have the Porsche 356 as well. And I may have both of the Lambos as well from this Series 3. I might. I don't know for sure. I know I'm pretty sure I've got the Gallardo. All right. So anyway, Shelby Cobra 427 SC. This is a high-speed casting. So this was also released as Malibu Diecast Limited. But now it's rebranded as Greenlight, and it was used. And this one actually has plastic tires. This casting was subsequently, I think, redone as a full-on Greenlight with rubber tires and a metal base. But a lot of the times, I think it was anyway with the metal base, but most of the time this casting was used and had a plastic base and was used in the Motor World lineup, including the Motor World dioramas. But it is a cool casting. I do need to get all of these older Motor World castings out and together to join with my Malibu diecast, because the castings were basically made by the same company, and I want to do a showcase video on all of the castings that they produced. And they're weird because some of them had rubber tires, some of them didn't, some of them had, you know, inserted details for headlights, and some of them didn't. This did not. It's just very interesting. So this is very detailed, though. It's a little 1/64 scale car piece, and it's probably fairly close to actual 1/64, judging by the size of it. Cobras were small, and this is pretty small. So pretty neat there. All right, and then lastly, we got a 1977 Ford Mustang II made by Motormax Fresh Cherries. These things are pretty sweet. They made a lot of like Malays, just bleh cars. You know, cars you wouldn't think twice about making in diecast. They're kind of bland. These guys made them. I don't know why they chose to go that route, the Fresh Cherries, but that's the route they decided to go with. And there are some pretty cool diecast in here, including some stuff that just really has never otherwise been released as diecast. The other neat thing is they're kind of a premium because they're, I think pretty much all of them have metal base, rubber tires, and they're all going to have like inserted details for headlights. I'm looking for a copyright date on this one. Well, we really could probably just look at the bottom of the casting if it's got one. And of course it doesn't. This says it's in 1/60th scale too, by the way. Back to the packaging. Man, there's nothing on it that tells me a date. Well, I'm not sure on it. I know I've seen it at one point. I just don't remember. But yeah, look at that. You got the waffling on the light, on the headlights. That look good. The detail looks pretty good in the back. Look at the detail, or back and the front. Ford, you can clearly it's clearly legible. Mustang 2 is legible. It's on a metal flake paint. It's got decent looking wheels, metal body, metal base. It is fairly heavy. Paint seems to be in good shape, and a lot of times the paint on these is in good shape, and they're old, so you don't usually get like the paint rash or bubbling or any of that stuff. So this is a really cool piece to add to the collection of Motormax, which I actually do have quite a few of these in my collection, and I did not have this green one, so we are adding it to the collection. So thank you, Jay. All right, so we gone a half hour. Sorry about that, but looked at some weird, cool diecast. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Man, we'll put this in the vintage, older, secondhand playlist I got on my channel, which is probably a fun one to go back and look at. So that would be a good one for you to check out. All my videos I try to organize them in playlists so they're easily searchable and stuff like that. Whether or not that's a benefit, I don't know, but you can go back and look if you want to. And thank you guys very much for watching. Have yourself a good day.